Good afternoon, world. It's out there. Hi, you got your money. I did. I got $20. Cleaned the oven and I cleaned the inside the cupboards, organized it, dusted the outside. I got $20, so I was able to get my 25 pack of smokes and my beer, so it worked out really good, right? And tomorrow I have enough to get like a pack of smokes, maybe a beer. I highly doubt a pack of smokes with my cans. I get paid Sunday, so I have enough money. I got lucky again. Yeah, the money I even know. I have zero money in my bank. Yeah. If I get paid in 2 days, like $100 at Dinty's, right? That's enough money for me until I get paid the following Friday, my 600 from the garden. And this time I'm gonna save it. I'm not gonna touch it. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a higher chance you're gonna be a movie star than being a pro hockey athlete. Yes. As chances are, when I'm king, I'm gonna be a movie star with PJ. That's my dream. My second dream is a pro hockey athlete, but movies is cooler, less risky too. I don't want to take that risk. There's nothing worse than me investing $33 into the league, and I can't. I practice with the players. I can't keep up with them. But there's context. Just because I scrimmage with them and I can't keep up, it doesn't mean that I can't get better. I could get better as a player as long as I keep training. Yeah, even if you keep training, you should eventually be able to be an amazing player. All the NHLs are saying, "Yeah, we saw your video, man. Like that's amazing. That's amazing skill with someone who never trained in his life, Ivan, in hockey, never played ice hockey in his life, Ivan." Yeah, I get that, but like once I actually step on the ice and play with the best hockey players in the world, I could flop as a player. But the key, Ivan, is you got to keep training. You got to train hard, man. That's the key. Yeah. When I have the best hockey trainers in the world train me with shooting, stick handling. I want to hone my stick handling craft. Even though I'm pretty good at stick handling, I want to be a master at stick handling. I want to be an amazing shooter too. Slap shots, wrist shots, practice my accuracy, collateral movements, power skating too, obviously. Yeah. And then the best way to know how good you are and practice, the best way to practice, you have to play hockey against the best. Don't play hockey with average Joes. No, play with the best hockey players. And that's how you know how good you are against them, Ivan. And I trained for like 3, 4 years, and I actually keep up with those guys. Oh, I flop. I don't know. Yeah. Ivan, is your goal being a generational player? That's my goal. That's a nice goal to have, the ultimate goal. But as long as I'm a star player, even if I'm a non generational talent, I'm not unique on the ice, I'm still happy as long as I'm putting up points, obviously. But I have the genes that these NHL players don't have, right? I told you I have a higher potential than all the NHL athletes because I have the genes. Yeah, man, your father gave you all everything you need to be successful. Yes, he did. He gave you the genes, the gifts, right? That's why the gatekeepers dumped on my brain because he knew they gave my father gave me the gifts, obviously, and he gave me the keys, he gave me all the gifts. Yeah, I mean everything you put your mind to, you're just good at, Ivan. You succeed in it. Yeah, because my father gave me all the gifts, apologetics, writing books, rapping, stand-up comedy. I have the gifts to be successful. Acting. Yeah, you guys saw my random video fight. That's me with very little training. Yeah, Ivan, that was an amazing acting performance. I mean, yeah, I have the genius to be good at what I do. Right now, yeah. But sports is the toughest. Pro sports is the toughest because you have to be productive on as a player if you want to be a star player. You have to put a point. That's how it works. In pro sports, if your performance dips, then look at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is what? He's not a great quarterback anymore. Yeah, remember Russell Wilson was amazing with the Seahawks in his prime. Now he's like second string. He's not a star quarterback anymore. Obviously, and now no team wants to sign him because he's not that good anymore as a player. He used to be good with the Seahawks. He won, I think, a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, right? One Super Bowl with the Seahawks, I believe. Might be mistaken, but he's not that good anymore, right? Patrick Mahomes crossed my fingers. I hope, don't hate me, Patrick. I hope next season he steps it up and he plays well. Because this season he didn't play that well, right? His team didn't even make the playoffs, obviously. But even if Patrick Mahomes never wins another Super Bowl and he puts up amazing numbers in his career, like 50, 60,000, 7,000 yards in his career, he'll still be a legendary quarterback because he already won 3 Super Bowls. But he won't be Tom Brady, right? I don't think Patrick Mahomes will beat Tom Brady. I don't think anyone will ever beat Tom Brady. Tom Brady has 7 rings. Very tough to win 7 rings in your career. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. Tom Brady could have had 10 rings in his career? Lost to the Giants twice. Lost to the Ravens in 2012, I believe. Could have had 10 rings, Tom Brady, but he got 7. That's crazy. And Patrick Mahomes has 3. Sidney Crosby has 3 championships. McDavid has none. That's what McDavid has to get that cup, man. He has to get at least 1 or 2 cups in his career if people really want to talk about him being one of the greatest hockey players in history. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Connor McDavid will be a legend in the NHL, but if he doesn't have any cups, yeah, he's a legend, but no one's really going to talk about him that much. You have the Dan Marino thing in the NFL, right? Dan Marino was a legendary quarterback in the NFL. He has no rings, no cups. You have to win championships in pro sports to be a legend in your league, man. That's how it works, right? Don't even say, Yeah. Sorry, you don't have to win championships to be a legend in your league. But if you're a legend in your league and you don't have any championships, people are not going to talk about you being the greatest player in history or one of the greatest players in history because you don't have any championships. That's why I believe McDavid only signed 2 years with Edmonton because he's not stupid. He doesn't want to. Yeah, I don't want to take that risk either. I don't want to sign 8 years with Edmonton. And by the time my contract's up, I'm 37, 30 years old. I have no rings. I'm pushing retirement. I don't want to take that risk. Yeah, he doesn't want to take that risk, McDavid. That's why I believe he what. If Edmonton does not get a cup in 2 years, McDavid's out of there. I don't think he's staying. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there will be some selfish players in the league, of course. There will be some, especially the upcoming generational talent in the SHL. Some players might want $50 million for 10 years. And then if they don't get that deal, they might be pissed off and because they're greedy. I'm if selfish players are that, those are players who are selfish and greedy. I get that. You want to make money, guys, and you want to have an amazing career and live an amazing life. I get that. But you have to, if you really care about your team and the other players and winning championships, you should be willing to take pay cuts for other players. That way other players in your team can get paid. It's not just about you guys, right? Yes, the star players deserve the bulk of the money, but you have to think about other players. Obviously, because I would gladly take pay cuts. Assuming, let's say I played in the league and they offer me a lot of money. Okay, pay me a lot of money, but I'll gladly take pay cuts. That way other players can get paid more money. That way we can win championships, obviously, if you care about your other players, man. Obviously. No, I want my $40 million for 10 seasons. My guys, you're crazy. You're not worth that, and I'm not gonna have you guys do like that. And you can't be selling that guy. You have to give cap space for other players to get paid. It's not just about the star players. Go ahead, guys, and say, yeah. To keep the star players happy, pay them a ridiculous amount of money for 2 years. But after that, they have to start taking pay cuts. That way, other players can get paid. The more money they make, the bigger pay cut they take, obviously, because they're making more money. That's how it works. You pay a star non-generational talent $32 million for 2 seasons. That's $64 million for 2 seasons. And with their league revenue, they're pulling in like they're 73, 74, $75 million for 2 seasons. That's enough money for those guys. And then after that, they have to take pay cuts. That's how it works. They take like a $5 million pay cut. They make $27 million for like 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Have them make 27, maybe 2 seasons. After that, you got to bring it down to maybe 22, 21 for another maybe 3 seasons. In the final season, they make $18 million. But I told you, with their league revenue, they're still pulling in their 20 plus million. They make $18 million for the final 2 seasons. They get $8 million of league revenue. They still made their $26 million. Don't forget, they get their magazine money too. Don't forget that, right? Yeah. Tell the board guards to let the GMs know about the rules. That way, the players don't dupe the GMs. They don't dupe me. I'm not gonna have a GM pay a star player $32 million over 10 years. You're fucking crazy, man. You're gonna drain the cap, and that you're overpaying that player. He's making way too much money. Obviously, I'm not gonna have these guys dupe me. $320 million for 10 years. That's crazy. No, they'll probably be making their maybe $50 million, $260 million, $270, $265 million for 10 seasons. That's good enough. And with their league revenue, they're making their $300+ million about around there, right, for 10 seasons. Obviously. Yeah. NHL players don't make that. NHL players peak at about like $150 million, $160 million contracts for like 10 years. They peak at $170 million around. They peak at in the NHL. Yeah. Well, my league, they're making $250, $200, $300 million. $350 million with their league revenue, right? With the league revenue, that's what I mean. Without the league revenue, they peak at maybe $250, $260 million for 10 seasons around there. $270 million. Except for generational talent. Generational talent can make a bit more than $300 million with their base alone. Because they're making a bit more money, right? Generational talent. The guys like Harmer Davis and Igrazio Ovechkin, those guys are making more money in my league than the other players. Because they're rare talent, obviously. The rare talent deserve more money, but don't peak in the $150 million guys. I'm not going to have these guys doing it. They're not worth any more than that. Yeah. So Ivan, if a generational player wants $6 million, you tell GMs they have to say no. Can't pay you that. It's too much money. You're going to drain the cap. And they're not worth that. They're not worth any more than $50 million. That's Sarah. All right, do you think Ovechkin and Ziddy Rossi and McDavid play in your league, they will demand something crazy? Yeah, those guys will probably demand maybe $60 million a season, and the GMs will say, no, guys, you're not worth that. They probably get their 40 to 45 to even 50 million a season for the first 2 seasons, but only the first 2 seasons, and after that, you have to take pay cuts, guys. You have to create room to pay out the players. But it's too late for those guys. So if you pay a star generational talent $50 million, pay that player $50 million for the first 2 seasons, they can get their $20 million of league revenue for the first 2 seasons. That's $140 million in career earnings for fucking 2 seasons alone. That's enough money for the players. And then they take a huge, like maybe $14-15 million pay cut. After 2 seasons, you pay them maybe 35. That way you create a $15 million cap space to pay a good player $10 million, an upcoming drop to pay 2 good players, 1 player maybe $9 million, another player maybe $6 million. That's some Sarah. Or to pay another upcoming first round draft pick $50 million for the start of his contract. If you have like 4 stars on your team, you have to create cap space. How it works. Yeah. Because there will be some star players in my league where the GMs can maybe only pay them 50 million. They can't pay them anymore because they don't have enough cap space to pay them any more money. Yeah, guys, if the GMs are in that situation whereby they have like 4-star players, you have a first round draft pick who signs like a 3-year, maybe I don't know, $12 million deal. They break out into the league as stars, and now their agents demand a lot of money. The GMs can't afford to pay the player any more than maybe $50 million. Give that player at least a $5 million, $6, $7 million, $8 million league revenue. That way they made like their $23 million. With their magazine money, they made like $26, $27 million. Just they're so happy off the seat. And if you pay a star player in their new contract $50 million for the start of their contract, you can pay them that $50 million for maybe 5, even 6 seasons, considering you don't have enough cap space to pay them more money for the team. Well, their league revenue is still pulling in the $20+ million a season. And after 6 seasons, you can bring it down to maybe 13 million for the final seasons. And you have they get like 5 million revenue. They're still making $18 million. Still more money wasn't making the NHL, right? Still good for those guys. Yeah, because there will be some star players who are not going to get a bigger deal. They're going to get a bit of a smaller deal. They're still making a lot of money. More than what making the NHL guys from Sarah. Yeah, I mean, even though you're a greedy pig and you're making all those billions, those tens of millions, you're fucking generous. It's like, yeah, I'm generous. I'm making sure the players are getting paid. I'm not going to have these guys stoop me, and overpay them, right? And all him guys said, yeah. I'm not going to have these players stoop me, man. Yeah. He was like, guys, I'm going to go upstairs and make some sausages. Fucking hungry. Back in a sec. Oh, we guys on my SHL show. Don't hang, guys. I'm saying. Alright, sorry for the wait. The sausages are what? Are in the stove. So good, like, I don't know, 8 minutes. I'm gonna go check the sausage. You're eating the hot dog? Yeah, I'm eating the sausage with hot dog bread, right? I'm fucking hungry. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm not gonna have a 32-team league. Otherwise, the league will drain my profits. I have to put like maybe 18 of my money into the league. 18 of my money is too much. I don't want to put 18 of my money into the league. How much money you put back in the league each season? I don't know, 15 billion around there of my money I have to put back into the season. That's enough to keep for the league to pay the bills. Pay all the players, coaches, GMs, all those guys. Board of Governors, Commissioner, and all the employees working in the league. It's enough money to pay everyone. Hotel costs, per dimes, all that stuff for the players. Facility maintenance, all that stuff. You players get paid for the cup and the playoffs. Of course they do. Obviously, and the playoff money is excluded from the cap. Obviously, that's part of the league money. Players get paid for the playoffs too. Obviously, I mean, how much money do the players get paid for the championship game? Well, in the NHL, the 18 players split like $1 million. Obviously, for my league, I can split maybe 5 million for the players. That way they get paid, right? More money. Considering the league's making, I don't know, I'm making my 80, 100 million a season. Make sure the players get paid a lot more, right? So even though I'm greedy, guys, I'm very generous to make sure the players getting paid, right? Each NHL team has about, 18, 20 players? 18 players are on there? On each team. So 5 divided by 18. Each player gets $207,000 for the championship game. That's a good deal. Split 5 million with the 18 players, and the winning coach gets a 1 million bonus. Obviously, and the assistant coach, you can pay that guy maybe a $100,000 bonus for the championship game, and for the playoffs, obviously for each game, you can pay the players a good maybe $40,000 for each game. That's good enough for the playoffs, right? That's enough for the players because they already made a lot of money during the season. Obviously, because playoff money and championship money is not part of the cap. Obviously, that's excluded from the cap. That's part of the league money. The league will pay the players. Yeah, how much money do you want to split for the 18 players on each team? The winning team you split like 5 million. The losing team you split like 3 million. So each player gets like $2,000 for winning the championship game. That's more than what they make in the NHL. NHL they get like I don't know, $18,000 on there. They get in the NHL. Yeah. And a losing team gets like 3 million. Because they made the championship, they still get paid, but they only get they get like 3 million. They split 3 million with the team. And the losing coach gets maybe $300K bonus for making the championship, but that coach doesn't get $1 million because he didn't win the championship game. That's a good deal for the coaches. Give the coach a nice $1 million bonus for winning the championship. Considering the coaches are not getting league revenue, give the coach a $1 million bonus for winning the championship. Obviously, but if the players get greedy and they want to split like 20 million and the coaches want like 5 million for winning the championship, I'm like, yeah, you guys are getting greedy. I'm not gonna have you guys do like that, man. You already made enough money during the season. I'm not gonna overpay you guys how you do me. I'll make sure you get paid, but I'm not gonna have you guys do me, guys. This is enough money. This is more what I'm making at SHL. Yeah. Sarah? Yeah. But high unlucky, guys. Chances are I'm going to be a movie star in the future, right? Yeah. All the hard actors like, yeah, Ivan, you're crazy. Like, even though you being a pro hockey actor, it's cool. It's much cooler you as a movie star. I know, guys. Movies is cooler. I know. I'm not stupid. I know, guys. I'm most likely going to be a movie star, guys. I might be a pro hockey player. You never know, right? The thing might get delayed till I'm 50, so it's like, yeah. It's most likely a movie star BJ, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man, if you want to be the face of the league with the star players, you got to put on a show on the ice and be productive and be a star player, man. Put up your 100 plus points a season. Score your 30 plus goals a season. You got to be productive on the ice. That's how it works. Yeah. Obviously. That's how when you train, Ivan, you got to really hone your craft. Hone your craft in shooting, stick handling, power skating, collateral movement, conditioning, all that stuff. Yeah. What do you really want your hone your craft in, Ivan? Shooting. Shooting is the most important. That's how you're productive and by scoring goals. Or you have to score goals. So I practice shooting. Obviously. So you're gonna have steps into your training. Yeah, I'm gonna tell the hockey trainers, yeah, I want steps in my training. Obviously, you teach me how to do cross skating, back skating, shooting, obviously accuracy shooting, stick handling, all my craft in that, and that's how you get better as a player. And after that, you take the training up a notch. Obviously, now when I practice my stick handling, I practice stick handling with the obstacles. You practice it with that, and now I practice shooting against an actual goalie. That's how you get better as a player, guys. I'm saying. Then the next training stage is I'm now playing with players. Playing with I'm now scrimmaging against against other players. That's how you get better as a player, Ivan, right? Oh, you guys, I'm saying, yeah. I don't know. You bluffing, man. Like you never trained in hockey in your life. Okay, that's a lie. Like I did, like I played street hockey many times, and I remember when I went to the hospital, every day when we went to the gym, I always practiced like my stick handling and shooting on the court and everything. So I did practice a little bit in my life, but I never like did like actually like serious training. I never played in a league. It's just raw talent, right? Yeah, I bet you have the God given gift. You have the God given gift, guys. Obviously, I have the genes of God that these NHL athletes don't have. NHL athletes may be amazing, obviously, but they don't have the genes that I have. I have the genes of God. So I have a hard potential in all these guys, but doesn't mean I'll peak at the level. I could flop as a player. That's my point, right? Go ahead, guys. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go check my food. I'll be back in a second. You guys on the show. Yeah. My father's protect me though. Don't worry about it, man. I gave you the genes. If you train hard, I gave you the dreams, man. The jeans, man. You're gonna play in the SHL. You start that league. You're gonna be a star player with the other players, Ivan, and you're gonna put on a show on the ice. You're gonna be magical on the ice because I have the the genes. Just like I wrote the Zane's book, my father's I don't worry about it. When you write your fantasy story, I'm gonna blow the world's mind away with your story, and they're gonna be hooked for hours turning the page, and it's a masterpiece in us. Yeah, man, you have all the genius to be successful. Well, yes, I do. Lucky son of a gun. Yeah, I have the keys, and I have all the genes to be successful. So obviously, right? Yeah, 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 man. They got shocked at this. Yeah, yeah. My food's ready. Get my food. Oh, you guys, sorry for the wait. Yeah. You think the players will take pay cuts? Yeah, they will. They have to. It's part of the rule. They can't make all that money for a long period of time. They have to take pay cuts. That way, the GM, the team has more room to pay other star players. And if the players really care about winning championships, they would take pay cuts. Especially the more money you make, the bigger pay cuts you take. That's how it works, right? Ah. Well, how much money does a player have to make to take pay cuts? The low end. Anything below like 15 million, they don't have to take a pay cut for maybe like 5 years. If it's over like $15 million, they have to take pay cuts. So if you're paying a star player 17 million, you pay that player 17 million for 2, even 3 seasons, and after that you lower it down to 16 million for like 3 other seasons. In the final season, they make maybe 13, 14 million dollars. But their league revenue, they're still making their 18, 20 plus million a season, right? Yeah. But tell GMs, for the players to have balance with their career earnings, that way they don't dupe you. Once the player's past its prime and his contract is up, don't pay that player a ridiculous amount of money that he made before. Because they're now older. Pay them a lot of money, but they make a bit less. Have veteran players peak at maybe max 14 million a season. 13 million a season. 13 million a season. That's good enough. So you sign a mega like 250, 270, 300 million deal for your first like 10 years. You sign another $7 million deal as a veteran player. You sign a mega deal, but you're making a lot less. You're making like 13 million a season. That way, because the veteran players are no longer in the prime, they're not worth as much money anymore. That way, you have more room to pay the younger players. That's how it works. They're still getting paid good money, right? That way, you have balance for their earnings. You don't want to have players earn like 600 million for their career earnings. They're ripping you off. No, you have to balance it out. And this sausage is amazing. So Ivan, yeah, put in the rule to balance the star player's contract. Don't pay a veteran player who's now past his prime when they sign a new deal any more than like maybe 13, $12 million. That's good enough. Because they're not worth the ridiculous amount of money anymore because they're no longer in their prime anymore. But they're still productive on the ice. They're still getting paid good money. That's good enough. That way you have balance in their contracts. What's the peak? Don't peak any higher than maybe $12.5, $13 million, guys, for the veteran guys. Yeah, I recommend pay them like 8 million, pay them maybe 9, 10 million, 11 million. The veteran players, once they're now no longer in their prime. They made all that money in their first contract, but their second contract, they're not making that money anymore. You have to balance out their career earnings. That way they don't dupe me, man. They don't make a ridiculous. You don't overpay them. They don't dupe you. Otherwise, they're duping you, Ivan. No, and that's still good. Like after I made all that money, if I can still make like $13 million a year, you're still making a lot of money, more money than the NHL, right? Go. Some guys can still get 9, 8, 10. Pay them around that 7 to like 13 million range. The veteran players after they made all that money. That way you have balance with their career earnings. They don't dupe me. They don't dupe me, man. Obviously, you don't want to have players earn like $600, $500 in their career, except for generational players. Like have them peak at 350, maybe 400, 300 million in career earnings. That's good enough. I don't want to have you guys dupe me, man. You don't overpay these guys. You signed a mega deal, a mega like $250 million deal in your previous contract. Obviously, at your new contract, you signed like a 100, like $20 million deal, whatever it is, for like 7 years. That's still a lot of money. That's good enough. You're still making your 8 million, 13 million. Yeah, even that's fair. We're no longer in our prime. Yeah, you're no longer in your prime. You're not going to get that same contract again, guys. You have to now take big pay cuts, whereby you'll peak at maybe 12 million, 13 million a season, making your 10 million a season. But if you're making 10 million a season when you're like 35, playing the SHL, you're still playing at a high level. That's still good money. It's more than what the NHL athletes make on average, right? Yeah, no hate, yeah. There's a reason why Sidney Crosby can't negotiate for that mega deal again, because he's past his prime. He's older now. But because he's playing at a high level, he can still demand a lot of money. But the league's not paying Sidney Crosby what they paid him in his prime. Sidney Crosby took pay cuts, obviously. Sidney Crosby, I think, is making like $8 million a year right now in the NHL, because he's older now. He's not prime Crosby anymore. I mean, he's still playing at a high level though. So if the veteran players are playing at a high level and they're in their prime, pay them good money, but don't pay them that ridiculous amount of money that they made in their previous contract. That way you have balance in their career earnings. You don't overpay them. They don't dupe you, Sarah. Yeah. So only in their prime, yes, guys. The star players in my league only get a ridiculous amount of money in their prime years. Once they're past their prime, they'll still get paid good money, but they're gonna take huge pay cuts. They'll now be making maybe 10, 8, 7 million. Pay them like 7 million, 8 million, 9 million, 10 million, 11 million a season. That's good enough for like 3, 4 years. That's still good money. That way they don't dupe me, man. And you don't overpay them, obviously. They don't dupe you. Yeah. You made like your 200, 250, 300, $350 in career earnings in your prime. That's good enough. Now you have to now you're a veteran player, you're no longer in your prime, you have to take big pay cuts. Well, but make sure you still pay them good money, but don't overpay these guys and have them dupe you, right? They're no longer in the prime. Don't sign them to ridiculous like that again, right? I mean, that's part of the rule. What have you guys been saying, Yeah. Because there might be some veteran players you might demand maybe 20 million a season. Obviously, the agents might demand 20 million a season. I'm like, nah, man, they're not worth that, man. Once they're no longer in the prime, they're not worth 20 million a season. Yeah, they're worth no more than maybe 12 million, 13 million a season. They're worth their 10, 11, 8, 9 million a season, which is still good after you mail that money. You're still making a lot of money, right? Oh, Hampton, yeah. They get league revenue. No, they don't. They're no longer in their prime. They don't get league revenue anymore. Yeah, obviously. To have balance in the contracts, once the players are past their prime, they know those veteran players who were once star players don't get league revenue for their second deal when they're no longer in their prime. They no longer get league revenue. That way they don't dupe me. You only get your league revenue for your like 8-10 year contract in your prime. And after that, they're not getting league revenue. That way they don't dupe me. You don't overpay these guys, have them dupe you. Yeah. Because anything over like, I don't know, 350, 400 million in career earnings is too much, Ivan. Once you pay like a generational player $400 million in career earnings, as generational players in my league, we're making in their first contract like 300, 350 million, 370 million dollars in career earnings for 10 years. That's enough money for them. Now they have to take pay cuts. They're no longer getting league revenue. They're no longer in their prime, and they'll be making their 8, 9, 10 million a season, which is still good. They signed a 5-year, like, I don't know, 45 million, 50 million. That's still good. That way you have balance, Ivan, and they don't dupe you, man. Because you don't want to have generational talent players making $600 their career earnings. They're not worth that. They're ripping you off. 350 around there, 370 million is their peak. Maybe even 400 million is their 400 million is their peak, man, in earnings. That's enough, man. NHL athletes don't make that. That way they don't dupe you, right? Yeah. That's generational talent. Non-generational talent will peak at about 250 million career earnings in my league, maybe 280 million career earnings. That's still good enough, right? Yeah, he'll make the NHL. Go. Yeah, but even generational talents are not worth league revenue after they're long in their prime. No, you only get the guys talking to GMs. Tell the board guards, tell the GMs, only pay the players, the star players, league revenue for in their prime years, in their first big contract or 8, like 10-year contract. After that contract, they'll still get pretty good deals, but they're no longer allowed to get league revenue. Obviously, that way you don't overpay and they don't dupe me, and you have to bring down their salary. They have to take huge pay cuts. They're not going to be making like their 30, 40 million a season anymore. No, they're going to make probably their 12, 11, 10 million a season, 9 million a season. That's still good enough. I recommend you sign them to shorter deals, like 4-year deals. Like a 4-year, 40 million, 4-year, 5-year, 50, 60 million. That's still good enough for the players. Obviously, they made an extra $6 million. That way they don't do me, man. You don't overpay them. Put that in the rule, obviously. I know your shit. Yeah, I know my shit. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna let us do. You're not gonna let us do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna have you guys do like that, man. All you guys shit athletes. I'm not gonna have you do like that, man. Like, I'm not gonna overpay and have you do me. Yeah. Cousin Sarah. I was gonna take a hot shower. Enjoy showing you guys. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That way you have balance for their career earnings. Yeah, man. You don't want to do a thing where a star player makes like $280 million for his first contract. Obviously, in his second contract, he signs a similar deal, and that athlete made like what $600 million in his SHL career. That athlete duped you, Ivan, and you overpaid him. That's way too much money. You got to balance it out. They get all the dough in their first contract. In their second contract, they sign smaller deals and they take huge pay cuts because they're no longer in the prime. Even if they're generational talent, they have to take pay cuts. But if it's generational talent, you can pay that player maybe 11 million, 12 million. That way, that player still gets paid. But now, because that player is not on his prime, now that player has to take pay cuts for the newer generation, the upcoming younger guys, to get bigger paychecks for their first contract. That's how it works. You guys got your money in your prime. Now you're long in your prime. Now the upcoming guys, you have to have cap space for those guys to get that money in their prime, and you guys now get the leftovers. That's how it works. The way you have balance with how much you're paying these players for their career earnings in your SHL Rocket League, Ivan. Otherwise, these guys are going to dupe you. You don't want to have a player make $600 in your SHL League, Ivan, for their like 20-year career. They ripped you off. Yeah. I'm not going to have a player peak any higher than maybe 400, maybe something $1 million in career earnings in my league. That's like generational talent. Star and non-generational talent, they'll peak at maybe 200, 280 million in career earnings. That's still good enough. They'll make the NHL, right? That's peak. And other guys will make maybe 200 million, 220, 230 million in their career. That's still a lot of money. They don't make the NHL, right? There you go. Yeah, and good players will make like 100 million in their career earnings, 120 million. That's still a lot of money. They don't make that in the NHL, right? Yeah, that way when they retire, they never have to work again if they're smart with their money. They have tens of millions, if not 100, 150, $200 in their bank when they retire, $250 in their bank after they retire. Guys, because they're good. Yeah, it's easy for you to say that, man. You're making your fucking billions. Yeah, guys, you're like when I'm paying you. Play in the NHL and make your 5 million, 6 million as a star player. There you go. Yeah. That's what everyone in the league will want to raise. Guys, I'll give you a raise. I'm not going to have you guys do me and overpay you, right? I'm going to keep saying that. I'm not going to have you guys do me like that and overpay you guys. You're getting greedy. There you go. Does VJ get a piece of your money? Well, my money is VJ's money, so VJ does get a piece of my money. Yeah, VJ, I made like $80 billion for the first season. You made $80 billion? Ivan, you made your $30 billion back, I know. How much money did you make off your album? Yeah, Ivan, I made like $70 billion on my album, Ivan. And my world tour. I made like $100 million for my $200 million for my world tour, Ivan. Me and VJ are fucking loaded. Because VJ will make around the same amount of money as me. VJ is pretty much just as big as me, right? A little bit bigger than her, but she has the keys like me too. Because I guarantee Victoria Justice will just do music if I said that pro hockey. Yeah, Ivan, I'll do music, Ivan. I'll just make albums, and I'll go touring for my album, and then you can do your pro hockey thing. All right, that's what VJ would tell me, obviously. I know VJ wants to be a movie star with you. Ivan, I want to be a movie star with you. I know VJ, I'm most likely to be a movie star with you. Over being a pro hockey athlete. Like, duh, it's cooler glory. That's why the SHL will blow the edge of the water. Anyways, guys. This is Real Guys on the show. Iron Man, I'm saying out. Peace out, guys. Don't hate me, guys. I'm saying peace out. Real Guys on the show. SHL better than the NHL. He shoots, he scores. Ivan O'Mara. All right, flopper.